Well. Shalom and shalom. Salam alaikum, wagwan peeps. How are me fans today? How are me fans? Yeah. So this video, yeah. Now, you might have seen some previous videos about the boxing news, boxing newspaper. It was like the longest running boxing paper in the world, I think. Maybe even longer than the Ring, I don't know. But, it's weekly, yeah. It was the most serious one, I guess, in terms of reporting boxing, pre-internet, all that kind of stuff. The most respected one. And it wasn't independent, yeah. Which meant they didn't have to follow no agenda. But anyway, I've been complaining about the obsession with awful women's boxing. Page after page on women's boxing when no one cares, man. It's so whack, and they know it. But they be bought out by News Quest some years ago, yeah? Which is a big media company, so they have to do the agenda. So it's just, I don't want it to stop being independent, but, things changed a lot. The Harry Mullen was the last kind of legendary editor. After that, they weren't really very good. Claude Abrams, he was all right, but he wasn't a particularly good writer. He was an ex-boxer, though. I think he spotted Nazim Muhammad, and Nazim pieced him up. But who else was there? And I think it was Tris Dixon after that. Tris Dixon was, he was really quite poor. He kind of turned it into Just 17 magazine for boxing. There'd be loads of tweets and da-da-da. And he's not a good writer. I will give him this. He's done a couple of good books that I bought, actually. They're not particularly well written, but they're very interesting, the topics. He went to America, right? I can't remember what the name of the thing was. To apparently learn to be a boxer by America's toughest gym. Now, I've seen this guy on the pads, and he's like, woof. Put it this way, he's terrible. He's a big man, though. Like him and, what's his face? Max Jenkins would be pretty even fight. He's that bad. So, I mean, he likes to talk about himself a lot. Me this, I this. But it was a very interesting book. He went around and seen loads of ex-champions and stuff. So I rated that. And also he did a book about brain damage in boxing, which was quite well researched. So I'm not hating on him 100%. I just don't think he's the best writer. And he did, I thought he sort of, under his tenure, he tried a few things, but it just started to become too, rather than good, solid, strong articles, which is what a man of the Triple B's intellect wants. He doesn't want to read it. What fighters are tweeting about. If I really want to, I go to their Twitter, innit? But, so he left. And then they had Matt Christy. Matt Christy wrote some fairly good articles. He's a bit creepy looking. But the agenda's been raised under him. And that's probably not his fault. He's been told to. And all there is now is women's boxing, claiming that Serrano Taylor was one of the best fights in 100 years or some nonsense like that. I mean, come on, man. And being obsessed with it, not updating, on the Alejandra Ayala situation, or questioning, which I've done loads of videos on. I don't need to go over it again, but why a woman who'd had a brain anomaly was allowed to fight anyway. It didn't deserve to be in the ring either, and why the board allowed it. No, I never asked a single question. Just they did some fluff piece after she recovered about how great it was, They didn't address any of the important issues, What else have they done that's poor? I mean, obviously with the internet, it's a lot easier because it's hard on the old traditional media, obviously the print media, because you can do a lot more on the internet, like get stuff up there quickly. Obviously, you can interact online, so that's not a problem, man. If the writing was still really good, I'd be cool with it. It's not. Occasionally they'll wheel out some half-decent article, right? But I'm not spending like whatever it was. What was I spending? £8 a year, which is fairly good value for the digital copy. I remember back in the day, man. I've been reading this since I was 14. Get me? And I would run to the newsagents. You get me? And the old magazine where the print would come off in your hands and all that thing. And I remember when it was on a Wednesday at one point, because he used to have a lot of big shows on them Wednesday night on the grandstand. You know, I bought it all the time. You know, when I was behind door for a bit. Yeah, you know, my peeps used to my fan them. Yeah, now my fans would do it, but that was my fam. Would send me, you know, the copies of the boxing news. You get me? You know, I don't hardly miss a copy. You know, a couple of times when I was abroad living, I found an English newsagent that stocked boxing news. You get me? This is how much love. I know, you know, and if you think about how many, you know, I mean, obviously I've spent, I don't know how many. I wouldn't be surprised if I spent £10,000 on boxing news. I bought it so often. I don't know. Maybe less, but that's still not bad. It's a decent customer blood. Yeah, I might have bought a couple of their books too. I can't remember. You know, not the books, but you know, the larger publications. But yeah, I can't justify buying that anymore. I can't justify buying that. Why would I want to read about women's boxing? Or a few lame articles? The quality's not there anymore, so I've cancelled it. The last 5 issues, I forgot they even arrived. I didn't even look. Whereas before, and even as an adult, I'd be just buzzing for when I could get the boxing news. You know, even recently I was like, oh, cool, I could get the download today. No, not anymore, man. I'm not putting up this nonsense, man. You know, the nail in the coffin was the Ayala, not asking questions, and all the boring female boxing. The awful female boxing, and then talking about how great it is. You can't be taken seriously, man. You're not better than Steve Bunce, who actually writes for them. You know, boring up nonsense just to please his boss men. Yeah, you know, it's like, what's the white equivalent of an Uncle Tom? I don't know, but you know what I mean. Yeah, the brown nosing and just following the orders of, you know, your boss man, a company man, you know, whatever it is, I don't know. Yeah, so I've cancelled that. I mean, I've cancelled it today. I will not be purchasing it again, and it's a bit sad, you know. I'm nostalgic about the old days when I had whack jobs, or, you know, I was behind door and I got me boxing news. You get me? But, you know, all good things come to an end. I don't like cliches, but, you know, sorry, man. No more. Sorry, Mr. Matt Christy. I won't be reading your whack editorials anymore. I won't have to put up with Elliot Wurzyl's pathetic attempts at trying to sound pretentious and, you know, profound. Or Thomas Hauser's pieces. You know, he's another one who really got a high opinion of himself. Or Steve Bunce, see his ugly face. I see enough of his ugly face on the TV. Anyway, so there you go, man. Goodbye, boxing news. Been a long relationship, yeah? It's time to divorce you. See ya, and I wouldn't want to be ya.